Flea, what up, homie? Yeah, it is gray matter time. Yo, thanks, cuz the 3-3 shop is about to be motherfucking open real fucking soon. As you can see, I've been up to some things, y'all. Also, Flea, what you ain't even check on the shirt. You know, I gotta let them know where your heart at. We brave-hearted, homie. Yeah, Zach Wilson. Wait till Nyce pops in so he can get the verbal lashing that he's about to get for that goddamn Zach Wilson performance. I got so many Saved by the Bell jokes saved up for him. Like, he cannot, there's no way to escape it today. He can offer up all the excuses he wants, but, ain't no excuses when you get beat by like 8,000 and Zach Morris throws at least 4 picks. So, Nyce gets one excuse per Zach Morris interception. So he gets 4 excuses. That's it. I mean, you know what? I ain't gonna lie though. I liked his answer after the game. You know, he just knew. Sometimes you have a bad game. It's not that big a fucking deal. But one of the reporters asked him if he was seeing ghosts out there because obviously they're playing the Patriots and Belichick, and that's what happened to Sam Darnold last year. And he just laughed. It was just like, oh, nah, man. Nah, I don't see no goddamn ghost out there. Which is funny because it looked like he was seeing motherfucking ghosts out there. This motherfucker was throwing picks left and right. Ah, shit. Are you telling me I lost my goddamn lighter? Yo, I go through more lighters than most small countries. Like, if you looked at underdeveloped nations and whatnot, I go through more lighters than they do. So, hold on one sec. I'm going to play the theme song. And then I'm going to go get me a goddamn lighter. I'll be right back, y'all. For some reason, I got no computer audio right now. So I'm not going to play the theme song while I go get a lighter. Because for some goddamn reason, there we go. I think I solved the problem.
Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure. Routing issues. I'll be right back, y'all.
He's one of the dopest engineers in the game. The head engineer exclusively for Prodigy of Mobb Deep. 10 Prodigy of Mobb Deep albums. The Hegelian Dialectic. The Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure, man. That body of work is crazy. I mean,
Joe the engineer. Now we do this shit, nigga.
3:33. That's a sign from the heavens. Let's look up in the heavens. Joe in that next room sparking. That next room sparking. That's a sign from the heavens. Look up in the heavens. Where the fucking wind at? Dopest engineers in the game. One of the dopest engineers in the game.
Oh shit, Flea, that's your first time hearing the new theme song? Dopeness. Yeah, I had a theme song contest in like January or something like that. Of course Billy Lyons won. Billy Lyons always wins. Beefy, thanks, homie. Yeah, the 333 shop will be open this week, I promise you. I literally have one more thing to do, and I'm ready to rock. Literally one. And I just got a little bit frustrated today with life, so I ain't finished what I had to. But, one more. And the 2020 line will be ready to launch. As you can see, hats is a thing finally. I got like, I don't know. John Frank, what up? Got a lot of shit I've been working on. Got a lot of things I've been working on, man. Yo, is everybody gonna make me, am I flying solo tonight? Does everybody think that we switched to 9 o'clock or something? Because I don't like doing the whole first hour by myself. Yeah, 80anism. Don't nobody smoke joints, especially not in my in the 333, man. Yeah, I know. We've been doing, Flea, we've been doing this for 2 seasons now. It's 8 o'clock every Tuesday. Nothing changed. Yo, my eyes is looking fucking bananas right now. I should probably go out. I can see, whoa. I should definitely go out. Wow. Interesting. I mean, I'll host it by myself, Lee, as long as I got somebody to talk to. And they interact back with me. And I'm not just talking into the void. I'll do it, man. I'll fly solo. I don't give a fuck. I've been doing this YouTube shit for like 3 years now. I do every single RIP TV and Mobb Deep Monday by myself. So, whatever. Yeah, my eyes is looking fucking crazy right now, dude. Ooh. So, for those who didn't catch it last night, RIP to my Uncle Flip. Passed away at 8:33 last night. Still less than 24 hours from the news. You know, it's all about perspective. Whether you look at it as a loss or you look at it as like it's ascension to the next level. Well, 80anism. There sure ain't a lot to say about the New York Giants. Here, let's talk about the New York Giants before Carrie even gets in. 303, thank you, man. So this is a make or break year, quote unquote, for Danny Dum Dum, as we like to call him. I think the year is already broke for him, especially with Sam Darnold going to fucking Carolina and balling out, and basically everybody that's playing quarterback in the NFL right now is better than Danny Dum Dums. He might be the worst quarterback in the NFL. Let me think for a second if there's any starting quarterback that's worse than him. I'm talking day one starters too. We won't talk about the people who got hurt and now their backups are starting. I mean, so, Flea, when I was talking to Kerry about this, I was like, oh, y'all should just switch him. Just switch him to, like, do what the Saints do with Taysom Hill. Like, stop relying on Danny Dum Dums to win you football games by throwing the ball. Now, the only problem with Danny Dum Dums, he fumbles a lot, like the most in the NFL by far. So, if he's running the ball, yeah, Tyrod got hurt again. Tyrod will never make it through full 4 games to open up a season in his career. It's not written in the stars for him. Tyrod was getting busy, too. Yeah, no, you guys, Adianism, you guys, Gettleman and Joe Judge, and especially Gettleman, and the Maras, because they own the team, have basically hitched their saddle, so to say, to Danny Dum-Dums. So when Danny Dum-Dums goes, so's Gettleman. They're going to fire their GM. They'll probably get rid of fucking Joe Judge, even though they kind of like him. Yeah, no, Flea, he leads the NFL in fumbles by a very wide margin. Like, it's him and everyone else. Well, DeBeige, I appreciate it, but this is a football show. We don't play music on here because if I do, then YouTube's going to take it down. Now, typically, I honestly thought the Texans and the Jags were going to be terrible. The Jags are terrible. Benjamin, what up? I thought the Texans would be worse. But that's the Tyrod Taylor effect. He's going to give you a couple victories in the beginning of the season, and you're going to think he's a starting quarterback, and then he can stay healthy. And then you will be proven wrong immediately afterwards. So, I like Tyrod. I really do. But Kerry and Roger and myself were talking about this on Sunday, that if you have an injury history, like you just have a history of getting hurt, there's no way to stop that. There's no way you're going to have like 4 season-ending injuries and then all of a sudden they're just going to stop. It's just who you are as an athlete. You're prone to injuries and what's not. So it's not like they can fix Tyrod. Especially, like, look at last year. He got stabbed in the lungs with a golf tee or something and had to sit out. And when he did, he got Wally pipped because Justin Herbert came in and balled out. And they were like, yeah, Tyrod, you don't get your job back, which is to be expected. It's exactly to be expected. So I guess the question that I have to ask everybody is, what we smoking on tonight? All right, Carrie is going to be late. Well, the Niners are pretty solid. They got a very stable coaching staff and GM. John Lynch has proven himself to be a... Hold on one second. Hold up, I'm doing some industry shit right now. Hold on one second, my bad. I got music industry shit going on. Anyway, my bad. I'll get back to the music industry shit after this show. Got some nonsense going on, but that's to be expected. It never fucking ends. So much nonsense going on. So, yeah, I don't know where Nyce is at. I don't know where Roger Harper's at. Kerry has told me that he had to do some things, so we might not see him for a while. I mean, last week I did a whole hour by myself and then everybody popped in out of nowhere. I just can't. Yo, look at my goddamn eyes today. Jesus. Wow. So, I mean, I hope. I'm trying. I'll keep throwing it into the universe. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to force it. So, interesting thing about New York football teams and drafting, looking ahead to the 2022 draft. Yo, the Jets got like... I think the Jets are pretty... I think they have a pretty solid pick scenario next season. I don't know what the Giants is. I know the Lions got like 97 picks from the Matthew Stafford trade. So speaking of the Bears, it appears as if the Justin Fields era has begun much quicker than anyone anticipated. So everyone was looking towards, I don't know, week 5 or 6, at the minimum week 4, because the Bears' first 3 opponents, it was the Rams, I don't know who the fuck they beat, the Bengals, and then they have the Browns next week. So the Browns, having one of the best defensive fronts in football, you don't want to throw a rookie quarterback out against that shit. So they were kind of trying to save Justin Fields for a couple weeks and maybe not have him get killed against these defensive fronts. But now there's no options because Andy Dalton got hurt once again. Well, I mean, that's because he's got red hair. Like, people with red hair don't look old. Their hair stays red. So, like, it just never changes colors. It's always going to be red. Until he's 1,000 years old, it's going to be red. Tyrod Taylor is going to the IR, so now this kid Mills from Stanford is starting at quarterback for the Texans. So, no, their hair doesn't turn gray. It stays red. Whoever the Texans are playing next week, I'd bet against them. It doesn't even matter who they play. I have no idea what it is and how they pulled that off, but it's a thing. We don't want the scoreboard. We need the schedule for week 3. All right, let's... well, Stanford QBs are always smart because it's extremely difficult academically to even get into Stanford, let alone survive and graduate from that place. So Carolina is at Houston. Tickets for Thursday night's game are $18 fucking dollars. That's an NFL game, people. $18. There's clubs in New York that it costs more than that just to get through the door. So that's fucking hilarious. I mean, if you're in Houston, why not go check out the Panthers? So, I'd bet on the Panthers and look for them to start out 3-0, which is fucking hilarious. Because I was assuming they're going to be one of the worst teams in football, but they've also played a pretty easy fucking schedule to start the season, which helps. Flea, speaking of Richard Sherman, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it has been confirmed by Bruce Arians himself that the Bucs have reached out to Richard Sherman to gauge his interest in joining their team. Considering they've got about 3 corners and a safety that are on the IR right now, it makes sense. You just need bodies with experience to fill the gaps. Now, the NFL this year is a little bit different. They've actually even made it better with regards to the injury reserve list. So they've now bumped it. They have an option for 3 weeks. So there's 3, 6, and then the season, I think. And it used to be if you went on IR, you were done for the year. You weren't coming back no matter what type of injury it was. But because of the Roni, they switched it. Now there's a 6 weeks IR, and now they got a 3-week IR. Because Jarvis Landry, wide receiver from the Dolphins, just went on the 3-week IR this morning with a sprained knee. So it makes sense league-wise because it's only going to be 3 weeks, but 3 weeks of keeping that guy on the roster because you have to keep his roster spot means one less player available and one less player. You're now at that position group, one player down. So the way it works now, if you put somebody on the IR, it doesn't require a roster spot anymore. So you could take somebody off of your roster for 3 or 6 weeks. So you're going to see in this modern day iteration of the NFL of this shit happening all the time where players are going to be on the IR for a couple weeks and then a practice squad player getting pulled up. Because the practice squad now has 12 players. Well, Kyler's super fun to watch. As much as I don't like watching him play football because I don't like Cliff Kingsbury, and I don't know why, I just don't. And Kyler can fucking play, dude. The NFL is so different than it used to be. That guy's smaller than me, and he's an NFL quarterback, which is fucking hilarious. You used to have to be like 6'5" just to be able to see over the line and absorb the hits. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good comparison. They're both pretty small. Shifty. You just hope with him that one of those times where, what up, homie, where he's running around in the pocket and like turning his back to defenders. He's shorter than Flutie was. That when he turns around, because he's just spinning in circles back there, that one of these times when he turns around, there isn't a linebacker or a DN closing the gap who, as soon as he turns his head, just absolutely changes his mind about playing professional football. He's so tiny, dude, that I don't know if he can handle the impact. It's great. He's smart. He understands how to play football and not get hit. So that's a big deal. There are some players who just understand they have an innate ability to like not take a direct shot. And then there are some players that's all they do. They don't understand anything else. So Carson Wentz is a perfect example. I mean, we'll never know how good this guy could have been because he just does so much dumb shit on the field. It ends up hurting himself. How you sprain both your ankles on one play and you're on offense. You know, that spinning in a circle and then trying to throw the ball over his head backwards. Fucking now he's out for who knows how many weeks. And now so the Colts have Jacob Easton starting at quarterback. And I'm looking at right now, the Colts go to Tennessee. So that's another loss. So you don't know how many weeks he's going to be out. I don't trust Jacob Easton as a starting quarterback in the NFL. So, I don't know. The Colts, who were looking like Super Bowl contenders in the preseason and the offseason. Do I think Ben is done? I think Ben has been done for 2 seasons now. The fact that he keeps holding on is actually hurting Pittsburgh. So Ben's arm, you have to look at last season. In the last, it's 333 somewhere. In the last, I don't want to say half of the season. It was more like, because they did start out 11-0. So I'd say like the last 6 games of the season possibly. Defenses started to figure out how to play them because they understood that Ben couldn't throw the ball past maybe 15 to 20 yards. And in the NFL, yes, he could still throw the ball 20 yards. But when I say he couldn't throw the ball past 20 yards, what I mean is he couldn't make an NFL level throw at 20 yards. So I can make a throw at 20 yards, but I don't have a cannon for an arm. So by the time the ball actually gets there, the defender is eating that up and going the other way. And so with Ben, corners and whatnot are literally sitting at 10 yards, 7 to 10 yards, and just waiting to break forward because the receiver's either going to run a curl, an out, a slant, a post, something like that. Nothing's going to be vertical. You know, when they do run vertical plays in Pittsburgh, they're like short verticals. He'll try to hit them at like 20 or 30 yards. So, it's, he definitely hung around too. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. This guy's got 2 Super Bowls. You're going to the Hall of Fame. Like, you're going to the Hall of Fame. We know it. So, and there's no possible way for you to leapfrog Tom Brady. This guy's got 7, working on number 8. Like, no one will ever leapfrog him. So, what is it that Big Ben is hanging on for? I'm not real sure. Maybe he wants to try to get one more than Eli, so he can be the guy out of his draft class between him, Eli, and Phil, who came out on top as far as career goes. I mean, I think Ben had a better career than Eli anyway. Statistically speaking, they both have 2 Super Bowls, but Big Ben is like in the top 10 all-time passing yards and touchdowns and shit like that. Eli's pretty much in the top 10 all-time for interceptions. So, I mean, they're both going to the Hall of Fame, and I've said it many times, you cannot tell the story of the NFL without Eli Manning. So he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He earned that shit. Big Ben, statistically, he's up there, so he's getting in too. I think. Well, Flea, whenever Pittsburgh drafted Ben, I called my brother and just like, yeah, you guys got one. Because back in that time period, I was watching a lot of college football. So, the Miami of Ohio, the whole MAC conference thing, there was a lot of quarterbacks coming out the MAC at that time period. Josh Cribbs. There was a kid that played around my hometown that made it to quarterback. He was, Bowling Green, I think he played at, from Bel Air High School. I mean, Ben puts up a lot of numbers. Like, a lot of numbers. But so does Kirk Cousins. Does anybody think Kirk Cousins is like an elite level quarterback? Oh, that's Josh Dobbs, and then they also had... No, that's Cribbs you're thinking of. So they had Josh Cribbs at Bowling Green also. But the MAC for a while was just pumping out quarterbacks. And Big Ben kind of kicked that off. I just remember watching him in college and being like, that's a fucking defensive lineman playing quarterback. That's a big fucking dude. And then just, Leftwich. So, yeah, that's Marshall University. That's another MAC quarterback. And we talk about Byron Leftwich all the time because he's the only quarterback in history that played on a broken leg, literally. Guy broke his leg in a game, went to the hospital, told him to take him back. They went back. His lineman carried him in between plays. Like, I can't overemphasize what fucking happened and how retarded that is. And they were down, and he brought them back to win. So basically, that game right there got him into the NFL because Byron Leftwich had the slowest delivery of any professional quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally the slowest of all time. So, he wasn't going to last in the NFL. He was getting destroyed all the time because it just took him too long to release the ball. Let's see. Look. You pull it up on the old U-Tizzle, and it's the first thing that comes up. So, I mean, just look at this shit.
On Leftwich again on 2nd and 10. Seam route. He's got Darius Watts inside the 35 and all the way down to the accurate.
Look, they have to fucking carry him.
Now look at this. The offensive linemen are carrying him down. I think this is the first. I have not seen that.
Never. That's amazing.
Help your homeboys out. And Darius Watts, what do we say? Keep them short. No big plays. Well, D. Watts comes back and makes up for that touchdown.
Absolutely insane. How's that even fucking possible? They were literally carried him in between plays and he's playing quarterback. And they came back and won. And this went on for the entire last drive. It wasn't just one play. He'd step back, throw it, they'd pick him up, run to the line of scrimmage. And they just did this until they went down and scored and actually won. Darius Watts, I forgot about him. You see how terrible the footage from the early 2000s looked? We're 20-some years into it, and now we got like 12K cameras and shit like that. You can't even tell who was who in that old footage anymore. It's amazing that we actually used to actually watch that shit. Yeah, I know. Like he's some tribal leader or something. They have to carry him upon their shoulders. It's fucking incredible. All right, so let's look at some standings real quick. AFC East, 3 teams tied at first at 1-1, and then the Jets suck. Wow, they've only put up 20 points in 2 games. That's not good. Miami's even worse. Miami's only put up 17 in 2 games. Oh, Miami has the worst offense in football by a mile. Oh, wow. There's nobody else that's even at 20, let alone under 20. So the Dolphins have put up 17 points this season, and the Jets have put up 20. And the next closest team after that is the Falcons, who are god-awful at 31. Wow, the Jets are terrible. And now Tua's down, so who knows how many ribs he's got broken. I'm wondering... Oh, Jacoby Brissett is the backup in Miami. And he came in and threw a pick immediately. It's the NFL is all about parity. So you got 3 teams in the AFC East at 1-1. All 4 teams in the AFC North are 1-1. The Texans and Titans are 1-1. And then you move down to the AFC West, and the Raiders and Broncos are 2-0, but even the Chiefs are 1-1. Same scenario. See, it's so hard to go undefeated in the NFL. We're only 2 weeks into this, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are only 7 teams left that can possibly go undefeated out of 32. We're only 2 weeks in. Literally only 7 teams that are 2-0. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. DeBeach, yeah, that's fucking impossible. Sorry, I got music industry things going on right now, and you should know there's only one thing that's actually going to distract me from what it is I'm doing right now, and that's actually happening. So, it's fucking impossible to go undefeated in the NFL, which makes what the Patriots did, even going undefeated in the regular season in modern day NFL, even more impressive. Yeah, I mean, Flea, you understand. It's like, what are we talking about here? So, look at the Steelers went 11-0 last year and didn't make the fucking playoffs. And if they did, I can't remember if they did, they got bounced in the first round because they lost their last 5 games, and then probably if they were in a playoff game. So that was the last 6 games. They started 11-0. Everyone thought they were going to go undefeated. This NFC West is looking pretty fucking formidable. So this is how unfocused I've been on my game picks in fantasy football in the first 2 weeks of the season because I've been so goddamn busy. I knew the Saints only had 3 coaches total on the sidelines for that game, and I still picked them. I just wasn't paying attention. Like, so stupid. A coaching staff only has 3 coaches on the sideline. Unless one of those is Belichick, you're going to lose the game. And they had 7 coaches or 9 coaches out with the Roni. So, like, who the fuck is the get-back coach? Who's yelling at the players to get back from the sideline? Who's the special teams coach? Who's doing what at halftime when you're supposed to be having, like, positional meetings and shit like that? How is this possible? Are you going old school and just having the coach talk for, like, 10 minutes like it's high school football again? And then you try to figure out some adjustments? That was stupid on me. I've just not been paying attention, man. Roger Harper was in town last weekend, or this weekend, actually. I'm fucking bugging. And what did I say to him? We ate like kings and smoked like gods. So I was a little bit busy this weekend. I made my game picks this week in probably 10 minutes, maybe even less. I know I made all my fantasy picks in less than 20. And I usually spend a couple hours doing that on Sunday mornings before everything kicks off so I can check the injury reports on game day before I make my picks. But, whoo, am I taking a beating this year? I think my pick percentage last year was above 80%, and this year I am somewhere in the 30s. I mean, you see, everybody in the fucking league is 1-1. Like, it's football, man. I mean, look at the Packers are a perfect example. They got destroyed by the Saints. I mean, destroyed. 38-3. And I know they were playing the Lions, and that doesn't really count for anything. But you still got to beat them. It's an NFL team, and they fucking blew out the Lions last night. So, which version of the Packers are we really going to see? Well, probably the one from last night. So, sometimes you also have to... what did we eat? Oh, everything. Fucking everything. Sunday was medicated everything. Nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, pizza, wings, just fucking high as shit. And then the rest of the time, I took Roger Harper on a Prodigy restaurant tour, is what I called it, and we went to all the places that P liked to go to, and most that are actually still open, because most of the places in New York have shut down. So, Negril in Brooklyn, Jamaican spot, super crack. Bar Petey in the Village, New York's number 2 ranked Italian restaurant this year. I fucking love that place. There was a festival in Manhattan, like a street festival, which I haven't seen in years because of the Roni. Definitely had to get street food. Not street meat, but like festival food. Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me? So it's almost like what didn't we eat, because Roger Harper's a big dude. And that motherfucker could eat a lot of food. I will not confirm nor deny that, Flea. I cannot confirm nor deny if that took place. I be high, man. You know, I be forgetting shit. I don't know. Alright, we about 50 minutes into this. And still running solo. Where the fuck is everybody? I assumed we weren't going to hear from Nyce, given the performance. Well, first of all, idiotism. As a New Yorker, you should know. You don't eat street food, dude. Unless you go on to like a review thing and you find out which one of those food carts are like world famous and have been on the Food Network, and you find those, because they do exist. It'll be the same goddamn halal food and pretzels and hot dogs and shit as all the other ones, but for some reason that one is famous and it will have a line. So there's one food cart on, it's in between 6th and 7th Ave. I believe it's on 50th Street. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's 50th. It's in between Quad Studios and what's the name of that goddamn fucking venue? Oh man, this weed makes me stupid. This weed makes me dumb. It makes me not remember everything, and that's annoying because I usually remember everything. I keep wanting to say Rockefeller Center, but that's actually in between the two. Also in between. But anyway, I think it's 50th and in between 7th and 6th Ave. You will see a line during the week, especially at lunchtime, on this guy's food cart for fucking like 2 blocks. So you just got to know which ones to go to, man. Now there is a food truck in Queens called Chimney Truck. Listen here, man. That was another P special. Chimney Truck is fucking incredible. I don't know what they put in their rice. I don't want to say crack because I've had food that had crack in it apparently. Because, you eat something, you're like, there's crack in there. This rice was different than that food, so they put something else in the rice. But anyway, this is what we're talking about now instead of football. It's funny how whenever I got to do a show by myself, it quickly morphs into the Dower Hour because it's just me talking to a fucking camera. All right. Well, I don't like talking about football by myself because we do this show so I can talk about football with my homies. We just happen to broadcast it. And instead of talking about football all week long, we condense it all into these 3 hours. So, I don't want to, do this without the homies. I don't know where Nyce is. I have no fucking clue. I hope he's alright. He said he ate some bad food at a barbecue and he'd been throwing up and whatnot. T's and P's to Nyce. You'll be alright. Yes, I believe that, nobody thought the Ravens were going to win that game. They were down. Some double-digit players were on the IR. And they also have never beaten the Chiefs since Lamar's been the quarterback. So I don't think anybody thought they were going to. I didn't. I did because this is what's going to start happening to the Chiefs, though. So you have to think the Chiefs, is unstoppable and as mighty as they are 1-2 in their last 2 games. Or last 3 games. They lost to the Ravens. They barely beat whoever they beat in week 1. I think it was the Chargers. And they lost in the Super Bowl. Badly. So they're lost a couple rough ones in the last couple games. So this is what's going to happen with them. Teams are understanding what it takes to beat them. So they average 29.2 points a game in losses and 31 in wins. So, oh yeah, it was the Browns. So, and the Browns should have beat them. They could have. So realistically, they could have lost their last 3 in a row. So it's not looking good for them right now. They're not looking like it's an unstoppable task. Teams understand that you're not going to defense them. You're not going to just shut them down. The Bucs did because the Bucs had a historically great defense. Teams this year pretty much figured out, listen, we just got to put up 35 points. If you could put up 35 on them, you're going to beat them. It's like, for some reason, as unstoppable as they are on offense, the fact that they average 29 in losses and 31 in wins, you look at that total, that's 30. They average, it's like they're so consistent on the amount of points that they score, and everyone's like, well, they can score as many as they want. Well, why don't they? Why do they always stop at 30, 35? They're never put up 50-something. Are they that arrogant that they think they can just turn it on whenever, and win games at the end no matter what the score is? Probably. And you have Patrick Mahomes, so you could probably do that because it only takes one play to score with this guy. And you got the cheater running. Nobody can keep up with that guy. But what's going to happen is you're going to run into teams in game scenarios where if you just have one thing not go your way when you're mounting a comeback, you're going to end up losing. And it just happened with Baltimore. They couldn't stop Baltimore from running the ball at all. So, yeah, I know. It seems like it, right? So, As insane as that offense is, who fucking cares? If your defense can't stop nobody, yeah, it's great if you put up 30, but if you're giving up 31, who cares? So, I mean, Flea, you're right. That one Super Bowl last year was such an anomaly. Brian, what up? It was such an anomaly. It was like the one team that's able to hold them. Not only did they hold them under 30 points, they fucking destroyed them. They gave up 3. That's retarded. The Chiefs couldn't score against this defense. And it's not like they didn't have the opportunities. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in that game, and they still fucking won. It's quite telling. It's quite telling. So I mean, it's early. It's early. So the Patriots are, during the Tom Brady era, the 20 years of Tom Brady, were notorious for starting the season slow. It always fucking happened. You're looking at a team that's competing for a Super Bowl, legitimately competing for a Super Bowl every single year. Those first couple games of the season, it's kind of hard to, like, you just won a couple Super Bowls to, like, be motivated in the beginning. Now, also, they had a very unique approach to how they go about their season. Bill Belichick always stated the Patriot season did not begin until after Halloween. So by Halloween, you would know who you are. It could be the entire same roster. The team is never going to be the same. So do I think they win another Super Bowl? Not this year. Can they? Of course. So they have the most important piece of the puzzle in Belichick. The second most important is an actual functioning NFL quarterback. So Mac 10 handle looks dope. He's only a rookie. He looks great. So as long as he stays healthy, you can see them projected towards, if you have Belichick and a real quarterback competing for a Super Bowl. The only problem is this new run of quarterbacks. So Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Kyler. Don't let Sam Darnold look like a real quarterback now that he's out from underneath Adam Gase's putrid shadow. So there's a lot of young quarterbacks that are firing away right now and are going to be relevant for a very long time. So, well, the criticism is that he's got Eli Manning's body. Mac Jones doesn't look like a football player. He looks like a golfer, and not modern-day golfers, like a golfer from the early 2000s. He looks like a bowler. Mac Jones looks like he bowls professionally. Well, Adianism. So what happened with Alabama is Nick Saban. If you've noticed, Alabama outscores people. Now, they don't physically dominate everyone and just have an NFL roster on defense competing against college kids, because that's what it was like for Nick Saban's first, 4 fucking titles or something like that. So Nick Saban even stated that he saw the shift in college football, and even if you field a team of NFL draft picks on defense, defense doesn't win shit anymore, especially in college football. So he shifted his philosophy towards offense. And look, they've had Mark Ingram won a Heisman, Derrick Henry won a Heisman. They had 2 Heisman winning running backs. They've had multiple other running backs that are studs, and the list of wide receivers in the NFL that went to Alabama during the Nick Saban run is so long, I don't think I could possibly give them all to you. There's no way to remember all of them. So that was one of the knocks on Alabama's quarterbacks. Yeah, they look good, but they're playing with like first round draft pick wide receivers at every position, and tight end and running back. Like their offensive skill set around them were so loaded that they had the USC effect. It looked like Matt Leinart and everybody else who played quarterback at USC during that run, not named Carson Palmer. The team around them was so fucking good that it made the quarterback look way better than he actually was. Well, see, Flea, that's what I said. They switched from defense and having a game manager quarterback like A.J. McCarron to now they have switched to they're lighting up the scoreboard. Can you possibly stop Alabama's wide receivers? In the past, since Julio Jones, I think he might have been the first one from that time period. Since him, they just had a lineage of absolute and total fucking studs. Just impossible to stop. So good. They're just so talented. It just doesn't make any sense. But I also understand if you want to go to the NFL and you can get into Alabama, you're going to go. You're going to go because even if you don't start there, if you're a backup for 4 years, you still might go to the fucking NFL. All right, let's look up this list because I ain't got shit else to do. Let's look up the Alabama wide receivers that are in the NFL right now. There are 10 Nick Saban wide receivers in the NFL on active rosters right now. 7 of them are first-round draft picks. Oh, my God. I've never even heard of this kid. So, some kid named Garrick Dieter. He's a white dude. He's played in the NFL for 4 years. Interesting. Robert Foster is currently playing for the Miami Dolphins. Cam Sibbs is on the Washington Red Wolves. I wouldn't as an Alabama guy because he wasn't an NFL prospect until he went to Oklahoma. Henry Ruggs III, Devontae Smith, Heisman winner, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. Oh my God, Calvin Ridley's Amari Cooper, and Julio Jones. All of these wide receivers came from one fucking college. Now, what's crazy about that is Alabama is now considered wide receiver university, but LSU has always been DBU. So that one game a year, you get to watch those LSU DBs, corners, safeties, and whatnot match up against Alabama wide receivers, and you're like, all right, let's see if these kids can really play against top-tier talent. That's another thing to do. Let's now look at LSU DBs in the NFL. Because, oh my God, are you kidding me? That's not possible. Okay. It said 53. I'm like, that's not even fucking possible. Morris Claiborne was a bust. Jalen Collins playing for the Falcons. Loson's for the Jaguars. Ronald Martin for the Jets. Honey Badger He's fucking all-pro. Probably end up in the Hall of Fame. McCray plays for the Cowboys. Patrick Peterson, he is going to the Hall of Fame. Eric Reed, who has had a pretty respectable career. And then Simon from the Seahawks, who is pretty fucking dope. Well, then you look, Alabama's also got just a lineage of DBs. It's like if you go to Alabama, you're going to get a shot. All right, so when the Gators were good, they got a ton of people in the NFL, just not quarterbacks. So what they had, Tim Tebow, and he won 2 national titles and is widely considered the greatest college football player of all time. And then after that, Chris Leak won a fucking national title for Florida. It was with Urban Meyer. Florida was always known to have a bunch of running backs also. Maybe that's back in my era. I don't know about now, but it was like an absolute ton of fucking running backs came out of Florida. I actually, you know what, Adianism, what's hilarious about that is I fucking hated watching Tim Tebow in college. I hated it because you have to be a real quarterback for me to pay attention. And I absolutely hated it. I loved him in the NFL, of all things, because nobody would give him a shot. And all he kept doing was winning games. I'm like, all right, he's the quarterback. The goal is just to win the fucking game. And that's a guy came in and made a playoff run and then beat the Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. Like, absolutely stupid what happened and how he was able to do that in the NFL. Now, if you ask me, I believe that Tim Tebow should have just been a tight end or an H-back, kind of like what Taysom Hill's doing, from day one. Absolutely from day one. But, you know, that's that desire as a quarterback to just be a quarterback. Like, nah, I'm a quarterback. So you look at other quarterbacks in college who were football players who just happened to be quarterbacks. All right, so that's the one assumption about Tim Tebow that I think we all had that actually turned out to not be true. We all thought Tim Tebow was a football player who was playing quarterback. Turned out not to be true. Any other position he ever played, he failed at. Tight end, fullback, special teams. He was never any good at actual football. He was great at being a leader, and they catered their offense around this guy, and it worked. When you look at other college quarterbacks who were football players, so when they get to the NFL, they're like, you're a football player, but you're not an NFL quarterback. You want to try something else? It happens all the time. Blake Bell is a tight end in the NFL now. I believe he plays for the Chiefs. Hines Ward was a quarterback at Georgia. Ended up having... He'll probably get into the Hall of Fame as a wide receiver. He has a Super Bowl MVP, 2 Super Bowl rings, and they changed the rules in the NFL because Hines Ward was knocking people out. You're not allowed to crack back anymore because of him specifically. Might be the greatest blocking wide receiver who has ever lived. So he might end up in the NFL. Randall L. played quarterback and point guard at Indiana. That guy was an athlete. Ended up playing wide receiver / gadget guy. And Cordell Stewart was a quarterback at Colorado. He's the one who threw the Hail Mary to Charles Johnson to beat Michigan, I think. Very famous college football play. The Steelers were kind of one of the first teams to break out they called them slash back then. So he would play quarterback, running back, wide. He just did everything. It's funny because you look at that list of quarterbacks who went to something else. There's 3 in a row that I can name that Pittsburgh did that with. So Pittsburgh's always been on that. You're a football player, we'll make you a football player. Julian Edelman was an option quarterback. Yeah, Antoine Randall, that's another one. Julian Edelman played quarterback at Kent State. He was an option quarterback. So, I mean, that's just good scouting because they drafted him to be a punt returner. So they saw him running the option at Kent State and was just like, guy's incredible with the ball in his hands. We're just going to turn you into a punt returner. Now Julian Edelman's going to end up in the Patriots Ring of Honor. He won't make it to the Hall of Fame because all of his damage was done in the postseason. But he will make the Patriots Ring of Honor. I think he's got 3 rings. So Edelman was another one. Logan Thomas plays tight end for the Washington Red Wolves. Now he was a quarterback at Virginia Tech. I don't know if I can. Let's see if Google will give us a couple more. College wide receivers college QBs. QBs that change positions in the NFL. Terrell Pryor. I did not know Brian Mitchell, the running back for the Eagles, was a motherfucking quarterback in college. Josh Cribbs. See if they'll give us a good list, because that one just had the top 5. Yeah, Brian Mitchell. I had no idea he was a fucking quarterback. So Eric Crouch tried to play a different position, didn't work. Denard Robinson, Michigan. Option quarterback for Michigan who played wide receiver for a while. 4 seasons with the Jags, 1,300 yards total, 4 touchdowns. Not bad, whatever. I forgot about Denard Robinson. Yeah, this guy never tied his fucking shoes. Matt Jones played quarterback for Georgia. Ended up being a wide receiver. Ryan Tannehill actually played wide receiver in college and ended up being a quarterback. So Nick Marshall, who plays for the Jags, actually plays corner. He used to be a quarterback. It's like I can't get a full list. This is crazy. Yeah, why the fuck would you not tie your shoes? Edelman. All right, so apparently back in 2006, Michael Robinson was a quarterback for Penn State. He was a Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year and ended up playing fullback for the 49ers. Interesting. Brad Smith. Forgot about that guy. Missouri. He played wide receiver for the Jets for a while. Matt Jones, as I said, Matt Jones, Arkansas, not Georgia. I knew it was an SEC team that wore red. Ronald Curry. Wow, I forgot about Ronald Curry. Played quarterback in North Carolina. Dude, he played 8 years in the NFL. Almost had 200 catches. Wow, good for him. Ronald Curry. Oh, there was another one. The Raiders had him for a while, and he could play. He played quarterback at WVU and switched to wide receiver. Jerry Porter. So, yeah, I forgot about Jerry Porter. So, Brian Mitchell, Flea, this is interesting. Brian Mitchell played quarterback at Southwestern Louisiana. Drafted in the 5th round by the Redskins. Played 14 seasons as a running back and kick returner. He's a 3-time All-Pro. He's in the Redskins, Red Wolves Ring of Honor. He's 2nd in the NFL. Yeah, Jerry Porter was a quarterback at WVU. He's 2nd in the NFL in all-time career all-purpose yards. Incredible. So some dude named Freddie Solomon in 75 did the same thing. Some dude named Marlon Briscoe in 69 did it. I don't know. I don't know what his college stats were, but I bet you they were fucking retarded. See, Tannehill's such a unique, he's like the unicorn of the group because he was a wide receiver and then moved to quarterback. Yeah, Mitchell's college stats got to be retarded. Oh, Richard Sherman was a wide receiver in college and switched to corner. I do remember that. In 2006, he was Stanford's leading receiver and was a freshman All-American. He blew out his knee in 2008 and switched to corner after his knee. And look what he's been able to do with his career. J.J. Watt was a tight end in college and then switched to defensive end. You know, what's crazy is if you go, well, not anymore, because now you start out playing quarterback young. And you're just a quarterback your whole life. But even back when I played, you know how many high school quarterbacks, like how many NFL players were a high school quarterback? Pretty much all of them. Because in high school, more often, especially back in the day, your best player was just going to be your quarterback. He's going to have the ball in his hand every time. And you might have, now there's like football factories, but you'll have maybe one guy that gets in the NFL from your conference, let alone your team. Maybe. You know, it's so rare. Yeah, let's see if we can find Brian Mitchell's. All right. Yeah, wow, quarterback. So 385 for 843 with 45.7% completion percentage. He never crossed 50% completion, so he wasn't that good of a quarterback. Never cracked 2,000 yards. his passing average hovered around 6 yards, which is so short. That's for attempt. Wow. That's not even for catch. 23 total touchdowns in 4 years as starting at quarterback because he started all 4 years. 42 interceptions. So, no, his college stats were not good at all, actually. But somebody watched him play and said, you know what? That motherfucker is a football player. I always think about how Jerry Rice ended up in the NFL. So, Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State University, which had to have been a D3 school. Maybe D2. Who knows? Super small school. And they were playing somebody in Louisiana, I believe. And Bill Walsh, who was going over the game plan, was watching Sports Center. Nah, 80 it wasn't scouting. This was just circumstances. He wasn't watching Sports Center. Bill Walsh was watching the local sports news, and they showed Mississippi Valley State highlights. And he said he saw Jerry Rice literally dominating every single person on the field like he was a grown man against children. And that's how he ended up getting drafted by the 49ers. Just because Bill Walsh happened to be watching the local sports and saw the local small school college team's highlights. And he said, I want that guy. Look at that guy. I want him. Guy ended up being the greatest receiver who's ever played. Who knows what happens to Jerry Rice if Bill Walsh flips the channel or is in the bathroom during that highlight run. Does he still get in the NFL? Probably. Does he end up with the same career? Absolutely not. Probably not even close. Crazy how that worked. It's absolutely nuts. It's like how models are discovered. Just be some random aesthetically pleasing human being in a coffee shop or something, and some designer happens to go into that coffee shop and just like, oh, who are you? I need you to wear my clothes. That's what I'm saying. So 80anism, he doesn't end up with Joe Montana and Steve Young. Don't forget about the Steve Young era also. So you're looking at Hall of Fame quarterback. And Kerry and I talked about this the other day. Their third-string quarterback, Steve Bono, ended up taking the Chiefs to the playoffs. But career-wise, Joe Montana and then Steve Young. So you're talking about elite-level quarterbacking at all times, elite-level coaching with Bill Walsh. And I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Jerry Rice's first year in the NFL, but he had struggled with drops, and he was not really panning out, and everyone thought he was going to be a bust. So even if he's on a different team and he struggles his first year, he probably gets cut because he's from Mississippi Valley State, and they don't fucking care. They'd be like, whatever, we'll find 50 of you. Bruce Leaf, what up? So talk about a perfect storm of circumstances. Any alteration to that series of events and that timeline, and none of it happens. The 49ers probably don't win 4 Super Bowls in the 80s. Okay, so what we learned about Jamar Chase is that he's what we call a gamer. They were talking about how he was dropping everything in practice, and maybe he can't catch the NFL football because there's no stripes on it, and he can't see it spinning and all this dumb shit. No, he happens just to play really well when it counts. And practice just doesn't mean that much. There are tons of players who are like that. I'm not even claiming that he doesn't try in practice. He might be the hardest worker on the team. But there are some players, when the lights get flipped on and it's go time, it's fucking go time. I always elevated my play when it was go time, but I mean, practice was competition too, so I never was just like, whatever. Yeah, see, look how 80ism, look how the landscape of all of the NFL and history changes if Bill Walsh doesn't catch that highlight. Other teams win Super Bowls, history is changed, legacies are changed. Some people would end up in the Hall of Fame who weren't there, and some people might not be in there who are there. Just a whole... Yeah, that was so stupid. He's a gamer. He likes it when it counts. What else can you say about the kid? Yeah, the NFL has eras. So the 70s with the Steelers, they won 4 Super Bowls. The Niners in the 80s, they won 3. The Cowboys in the 90s, they won 3. And then the Patriots for 2 decades, which is hilarious. And now there's going to be, I don't know if any team has definitely not laid claim to the beginning of this decade, because Pat Mahomes has one. Tom Brady's got one now, so watch it end up being the Bucks. Watch Tom Brady play till he's 50 and end up winning like 12 Super Bowls or something retarded. So, apparently Big Ben has a pec injury. Interesting. I wonder if it's on his throwing arm. We'll see. That's how good the Cowboys of the 90s were, because the 49ers had to go through the Cowboys in order to even get to the Super Bowl, and they just could never get over that hump. It was like the Bulls and the Pistons. Yeah, that's Big Ben's throwing shoulder on his pec. That's terrible. Mike Tomlin says the Steelers better be ready to be adjustable. Uh-oh. Left pec. Okay. That's not his throwing arm.
Mike, what do we know about Ben Roethlisberger?
It's not his throwing arm, so that's not as bad as it could be. Oh, yo, did you guys see that the New Orleans Superdome fucking caught on fire today? They were trying to clean the roof, and somehow the roof caught on fire. The Philadelphia Eagles have added Brandon Graham to their injury reserve. That's not good for them. Yo, the 49ers just signed a former XFL running back. That's how hurt for running backs they are right now. Who did they just sign? That is... I guess he used to play on the Bengals practice squad. I don't know why Adrian Peterson isn't making a phone call to San Francisco right now. Yeah, dude, the fucking Superdome caught on fire. The roof caught on fire. You should look up the footage. It's outrageous. It wasn't a small fire either. And, like, they were talking about it on the internet today. They're just like, yo, how do you put out the roof fire? It's so high up in the air. Like, how do you possibly put that out? Yeah, Flea, the Niners, man, I don't understand why they haven't hit up Adrian Peterson. So Bradley Chubb, the D-end for the Broncos, is set for surgery, so it looks like he's going to be out for probably the rest of this season. A lot of injuries, but this is what you call football, people. All right, so clearly I'm doing this by myself tonight. I've done an hour and a half and nobody's popping in. And even if they do, I might ignore them tonight. So, yeah, let's run down last week because I was waiting. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm tired of this shit. So, the Giants find a way to lose the game by a defensive tackle going offsides on a last-second field goal that was missed by the Red Wolves. Now, you'd never give an NFL kicker another chance, especially 5 yards closer. Of course, he was going to hit that second one. The question is, what the fuck was that D tackle doing jumping off sides? The ball was literally right in front of you. How many times have you ever seen a D tackle block a kick? Yes, it does happen, but those are very long kicks because you have to push it out at a different angle than getting it over the line. That wasn't that long of a kick, so you're not going to block it as a D tackle. It's impossible. You'll never jump that high. The only way it would be possible is if there's a breakdown in blocking and you get through clean, which is so rare in the NFL, or somebody can sneak around the corner. But anyway, yeah, the Giants find a way to blow the game. It's got to be demoralizing. It was Thursday night, and Carrie's a Giants fan, so of course I was watching the end of that, and just hilarious. Just hilarious ending to that. Situational football is situational, and you have to be sound fundamentally in tight pressure situations. Like, it's all about fundamentals and your coaching, and who knows what the fuck he was doing. I did like that Taylor Heineke, after he threw that terrible interception that actually should have cost them the game, that when he got the ball back, he did absolutely what he had to do and made up for it. He didn't crumble and allow the failure on the previous attempt and drive to creep into his brain. He actually overcome it mentally, which is an excellent sign. So, you know, me, Roger, and Kerry were talking about this kid. Like, he belongs in the NFL. He's proven it. Are there better starting quarterbacks than him? Of course. Are there better college quarterbacks than him that if the Red Wolves have an opportunity to draft, will they probably end up starting over top of Tyler Heineke? Of course. But this guy belongs in the NFL. If he's not a starter, this is an incredible backup quarterback. I would definitely sign him as a backup. So, our game of the week. Yeah, Jason Garrett, football has passed him up. He has no idea what a modern-day NFL offense looks like. So, our game of the week, because I'm a Pats fan and Nyce is a Jets fan, was an absolute blowout shit show. The only stat of that is that Nyce didn't show up and Zach Morris-Wilson threw 4 picks. So, you guys want to see something hilarious? Let's see if I still got this in here. It should still be in the... let me show you my conversation. Nyce he's on Instagram right now. What the fuck are you doing? Anyway, this is what Nyce deserves. Interception number 1 from Zach Morris-Wilson. He gets this gif. Interception number 2 from Zach Morris-Wilson. He gets this. Interception number 3 from Zach Morris Wilson. He gets that one. Interception number 4 from Zach Morris Wilson. He gets that one. And then look what I typed to him after number 4. Y'all suck, dude. That's literally what this is how I, there it is. See? Y'all suck. In the middle of that, while Sam Darnold was balling, he also gets this gif. Sam Darnold in a Jets jersey. How is that even a thing still? So this is how I communicated with Nyce during this game. It wasn't very verbal. I was just sending him Saved by the Bell gifts. He knew he didn't want it with me because he knows me, and I can promise you that I absolutely loaded up on Saved by the Bell jokes for that game. Like, I've got an entire Rolodex. Absolute and total folder full of Saved by the Bell jokes for this season. I have personally guaranteed that I will not give the Jets nor Zach Morris Wilson one molecule of credit this entire fucking season, no matter what he does. Nyce, if you're watching this right now, this is what you get. Hey, look at that. I'm not by myself. He said, I just got out.
Yo,
I have been literally talking nonstop for the last hour and 40 minutes. This is good.
are you for real?
Yeah,
I thought
Nah,
Nyce popped in at least.
nah, Nyce didn't want it today, homie. You know that.
Oh yeah, I know that. This would have been the last day that he would have wanted to come up.
Yo, so Kerry, I literally just started last week's. I just went through the first game, which is hilarious, and it happened to be the Patriots and Jets, and I showed everybody on screen all the Zach Morris gifs. Every interception got another Zach Morris gif. And,
Yeah.
And then I had to show him the. How is the only Sam Darnold gif on Instagram is him in a Jets jersey, and there's like 30 of them.
Oh, terrible. Especially after my dude had like a game this past weekend. So
Yeah, Nyce didn't want it today.
they gotta put some respect on Sam Darnold's name.
So speaking of that, I'm an idiot. See, this is how busy I was. This is my game picks. I'm putting no time into it. Yo, we sat here and discussed how the Saints literally only had 3 coaches on their staff.
Exactly, because everybody got Rona.
And then I still picked them.
I forgot that I had picked the Panthers. I completely forgot. But I was like, everybody got Rona. Hell yeah, I'm picking the Panthers. So don't call it a comeback. But guess who had a week? I climbed right to the top of the charts. This past week.
Yeah, no, I'm still doing absolutely terrible. It's been a rough year for me. Whenever I get some time, on Sundays, I'll actually put some effort into it. But I've been busy. I just went through. We were going through the records earlier, dude. There's only 7 teams who are 2-0 left.
Damn, that was fast.
See, this is what this type of NFL year. Look what the Packers just did last night versus Week 1.
Well, also, not a lot of people prognosticated that the Ravens, with all of their bullshit, would have been able to pull off what they pulled off.
Who would the
Thanks, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire.
Yeah, who would the right mind pick that game right? Nobody.
Right. No, nobody was picking that game that way. Nobody.
First of all, Lamar, that's his kryptonite. He can't beat them. Secondly, they had 14 players on IRs already this season.
IR, Rona, like everything. I mean, what did the fuck is that running back situation looking like?
His name is Lamar
It's
Jackson.
Lamar.
Yeah.
It's Lamar. It is Lamar Jackson. And so because when the Chiefs get that ball back, if they keep the ball in the hands of T. Mahomes, we already know what's happening.
Exactly. I didn't understand why the incessant need to run the ball when you have this guy at quarterback who will give you a 2 to 3 yard completion, which is better than running the ball.
And he'll also run it for you if that's what you really truly desire in all your heart of hearts. He'll do that. He'll do that for you.
Of course he will.
He can do that.
And Travis Kelce will always give you the completion you need for a possession.
Yeah.
So that's bad.
Yeah.
That was actually a bad call on Bieniemy's fault. That's his fault. Because Patrick Mahomes isn't like, yeah, let's run this shit. He's probably like, motherfucker.
Yeah, that was not a good look. Because now you take the ball out of the hands of your best player, the player who could have led you to victory, and you put the balls in the hands of their best player. So when I don't even know why Harbaugh asked if you want to go for it. That wasn't even a real question. I was like, the fuck you mean? Of course he wants to go for it. And you want to go for it. You don't want to give the ball back to that monster on
All right, so
sideline.
this is one of the reasons I don't like Harbaugh. He knew the cameras are on him. That was a scripted moment.
Yeah. That did seem real disingenuous because, of course, you're going to go for it. You do not want to give Patrick Mahomes the ball back again.
Plus,
period.
Literally, your best offensive weapon gets the ball the second it's snapped. He doesn't even have to give it to anyone. So you only need a yard. Of course they're going for it. And we're looking at a Chiefs defense who looks terrible.
And yeah, that was just so stupid. And of course, the next time the Chiefs get the ball, guess who's not handing it off ever?
Nah. So
Clyde Edwards-Helaire's not even on the field at that time.
Of course not, and I don't think moving forward, I don't think he can be either because that was a high pressure situation, and he failed. He's going to have to earn that right again.
He just he relegated himself to third down back status.
He did it to himself. That was such a huge pressure situation in a big early game to set the tone, and you failed miserably.
He's so lucky that Damian Williams decided to jump ship, or else that job gone. He doesn't have any true pressure behind him, though. But I would say that the Chiefs may be now thinking that they haven't solved their running back situation. So
they haven't. And Adrian Peterson is still out there in the matrix working out.
Guess who will not fumble in that situation? And the way they run their offense, Adrian Peterson would be great.
He would be great because they don't require their running backs to catch the ball.
But if they did, they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's what I'm saying.
He could do that. That's what I'm saying. All you need, if AP can give you so you're telling me it's 3rd and 4, I can throw it to a back out of the backfield. I have Kelce. I have Cheetah. If you give me third and 4 every time, I like my chances.
Plus, Mahomes will run for 4 instantly. That's easy. That's light work.
So if you give me an AP who can give me 3rd and 4 every time, average 3 yards a carry, baby. That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't think AP can average 3 yards a carry right now?
He 100% can, and he's never given up that ball in that situation. He's too goddamn strong. You can't punch it out of Adrian Peterson. He is famous for having a hand-breaking grip. He's not giving it up right there.
He has what they call the grip of destiny.
Yeah. It's literally he's famous for like breaking your hand when he shakes it. So he does, and he never had a fumble history. And this is one of the most physical running backs we have ever seen.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why he's still floating out there with all these running backs getting hurt, especially the 49ers have gone through 37 running backs. Dude, they just signed a dude off of Cincinnati's practice squad instead of Adrian Peterson.
They are just savages. They are the deepest team in the league and will be for the foreseeable. I have to holler back. Yeah, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, jump on the trade. I'll be here. Same link. Just use the same link. Motherfucking Kerry popping in from the train. I appreciate it. He said he was busy. He will holler as soon as he can. He did not lie. So, on from the terrible, terrible Jets game. The Patriots defense looked good, but you're playing against a horrible Jets team. Also, against a quarterback who was off. We watched that game, and he was off. He was overthrowing people. He was too hyped. You know how hard it is to overthrow somebody across the field? So, almost all football fields have a crown in them, unless you're in some small town that's using like their baseball field or something, right? They have a crown. So, it's not huge, but it's for drainage and whatnot. So, if you're on the opposite side of the field and you overthrow somebody on the other sideline, you have sailed that shit excessively. It was nuts. So, it looks like we were talking about Andy Dalton and his epic beard and red hair, looking like a fucking Viking warrior at this point. But it looks like his job has been taken. So Justin Fields, your team now. Andy got hurt. You're not, even though Matt Nagy did claim that when healthy, Andy Dalton is the starter. Well, Justin Fields came in and took that team to a win. So why would you give the ball back to Andy Dalton? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I wouldn't. Justin Fields he's mobile. Like, what are we talking about here? It's the modern day NFL. You need a quarterback who can move. Andy Dalton cannot move. So clearly he looked good too. So it's Fields' team moving forward. That will inject a lot of life into that team also, because I think the players on the roster also are like, yo, can we get the kid in, please? Can we get the fucking kid in? For the Bengals, yeah, Flea, you're right. Jamar Chase looking good. T. Higgins always looking good. So now you got two studs. Joe Burrow, Joey Boyband, always looks good, of course. That offensive line still does not look good at all. I hope they don't ruin this kid. I hope they don't ruin him, because they very well might with how they're treating him physically. That kid, you cannot doubt his toughness, though, that's for sure. And they have Tyler Boyd. So the Bengals wide receiver core and quarterback scenario are set right now, and they just drafted a young tight end who did get busy last week. How about getting an indoor practice facility and an offensive line? The Bengals might be relevant. The Bears, we don't even need to talk about them except from this next game forward, because it's a whole different team now that Justin Fields is going to be the starter. So they are 1-1, so they split the Andy Dalton bullshit. But this last game they won with Justin Fields doing most of the legwork. So we'll have to see who and what they are moving forward, as opposed to what they were with Andy Dalton, because it's going to be a completely different offense. The offensive coordinator's probably excited. Matt Nagy's probably the only one that didn't want Justin Fields to start unless the owners were like, nah, not yet. But the owners want to sell tickets and whatnot, and they don't give a fuck. So Tyrod Taylor gets hurt again. To be expected. Baker Mayfield popped his left shoulder out of place, popped it back in, and went right back in. Good for him. Nick Chubb is a beast. 11 carries for 95 yards. It's almost 9 yards a carry in an NFL game. That's retarded. They were playing the Texans, who... It is the Texans, and now Tyrod's hurt again. So the Texans are about to start looking like the Texans of old. The Browns moving forward. I mean, you expected this. You would like the Browns to not give up 21 points to the Texans. The Browns defense was supposed to be upgraded this year, especially with all of their secondary being healthy. But a lot of new pieces coming in health-wise, like Delprit and what's his name? Denzel Ward. And they had another member of their secondary that also missed most of last year. So that's all like a whole new secondary, literally. And most of them are coming off of injuries, so those first couple games back from injury, you are going to play hesitant. You are going to be a little trigger shy because you just don't want to get hurt again. But I think you also have to understand this is the NFL. They have invested tens of millions of dollars into you as a player. They're not going to do that unless they're greedy. That's another one. I forgot about Greedy Williams. That was him. He got hurt also. What a name for a corner, Greedy. That's incredible. He had to play corner. So, I mean, I expect more from the Browns moving forward. We don't know if Odell's going to hit the field. Jarvis Landry is now injured, though. So, Jarvis Landry hits the 3-week IR.
Yeah, his knee.
But they got Peoples-Jones or whatever his name is.
And Schwartz.
And they really like Schwartz. And Odell still hasn't seen the field yet. So, I don't know what's up with Odell when he's going to come back.
They got Hooper and Joku and, the 2 monster running backs.
Yeah, they're fine without Landry. And it's not like Landry was a stats monster. He's the glue guy and leader, so...
He's a good football player, yeah.
And his leadership will still be there on the sidelines. It's not...
Absolutely.
You're not really missing a whole lot.
If you really think about it, that's his most important role on that team.
Exactly, and as if he's not on the field, then he can play his most important role on every single play. Be a leader. Exactly. So it's going to work out for them, especially with the young receivers, Schwartz and this Peoples-Jones.
Yeah.
So it's going to work out. I was just talking about Tyrod Taylor getting hurt again and how the Texans are going to be the Texans. They're going to suck now. Nick Chubb averaged...
They're going to suck now.
Yeah, I know. You said now. I said now.
They were going to suck.
So Nick Chubb almost averaged 9 yards a carry in an NFL game this week. That's retarded. 11 carries for 95 yards. That's retarded.
You know that's my guy. That's my guy.
I think he might be the best running back in the NFL.
Listen. I've been saying this since last year. We're watching Chubb. I'm like, yeah, he does everything the right way. I know he had a fumble last week. That's not even in his character. He just runs the rock, keeps it going. No celebration. I mean, he's just that dude. You want that dude on your squad. I mean, it's only one, he doesn't hang out with everybody. There's only like one or two people he actually gets along with.
So imagine what his stat line would be if Kareem Hunt wasn't on that roster.
Oh my, we'd be looking at Derrick Henry, part 2. real.
So that's what I'm thinking of, because as I watch him, because it's fun to watch the Browns these last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I actually think he's a better running back than Derrick Henry. He's more
putting up Derrick Henry numbers.
He's more consistent. He actually falls forward more than Derrick Henry does. Derrick Henry's so tall that he kind of has a vertical running style, and he will just mush you.
But here's the thing. People don't realize that Chubb has a more violent running style.
That's what I said.
Than Henry. Henry is just a big dude. Chubb runs violent.
That's what I said. Chubb he's falling forward to where I think when Derrick Henry gets tackled, he looks awkward a lot. It looks awkward sometimes.
Someone's getting me down. Oh, okay. I guess I'll fall.
I mean, it's so weird. It's just like, Dave, you're so goddamn big. But it's not like when Brandon Jacobs used to piss me off. Or even Jerome Bettis when he started tiptoeing.
That's the guy. Yeah, when he started dancing with the stars. And he literally was dancing with the stars.
It's just like, you're so big. What are you doing? Like, I don't understand. But there are smaller running backs who run violently. Nick Chubb is. And I imagine he's got better hands than Derrick Henry, too.
Is that low back running back. Definitely an 80s, 90s type running back. That's why I love him so much. He's an 80s, 90s type running back. That's it. That's exactly it right there. Like, they could catch, but also a savage. Like, do you want to running out the backfield, or do you just want to ball in the entire defense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, at my size, I would actually rather tackle Derrick Henry instead of Nick Chubb, because I know I could get to Derrick Henry's ankles with no problem.
Yes, you can.
No problem.
He can't get his head that low.
That's what I'm saying.
He can't dip that low.
Chubb would just completely, absolutely bulldoze me.
Yes, he would.
Oh, look at that.
He'd make you regret every decision.
Look at that. It's raining in Uptown. Holy shit.
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea.
Stupidness.
So the Rams look like they're going to be real fucking good this year.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. That's why I was like, looking like Matty Staff is putting himself square in the middle of that MVP conversation.
So you also notice what's happening with the Rams. They really like each other. They're having fun.
Yeah, they do.
And you know what that means. That's the Super Bowl team.
Yep. That's how it happens.
And plus, on top of that, Kerry, the amount of talent on their roster is absolutely fucking retarded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have Jalen Ramsey playing the way he's playing right now. You have the ultimate monster in the middle, Aaron Donald. They just need one of those LBs to, like, step up and play consistent, like their middle linebacker or whatever. Have their slot corner play consistently. The only thing that they truly lack, it's sad for them, that Cam Akers got hurt.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Darrell Henderson, I'm not counting on Sony Michel. Sam Akers getting hurt is huge. They lost him for the season. That was a tough break. Because if they had Sam Akers, I'm telling you right now, I just don't even pick against him.
I mean, you're seeing the inevitable. We're all seeing it. It's going to be the Rams and the Bucs.
Right. And on the Bucs side, it depends on how healthy they can stay. And we're already seeing that injury bug starting to creep its way. It's getting the defensive backs right now, but
I mean,
we'll see if they.
Luckily, it's early.
Yeah, it's early.
You know, but that was one of the things that we harped on last season throughout the playoffs the Bucs are fully healthy. They're going to dominate everyone. They literally have their entire roster available to them for the playoffs, which is so fucking rare.
Right.
You know, and you're right. Those DBs, well, that's also why Bruce Arians has confirmed that the Bucs have reached out to Richard Sherman.
Yes, they have. I saw that.
That's a good look for them. That's a good fit.
They get Richard Sherman in there to pair with a young Dante. Yeah, because you saw what Richard Sherman did for the secondary of San Francisco. He just changed the whole culture there.
Well, also
let me piggyback on that. Jason Averett, I don't know if people remember this guy.
Yeah.
Started with the Chargers, kept getting hurt. He was an all-pro player early in his career.
Very early.
Got a second chance with the 49ers, showed his ass, and now he is abso-fucking-lutely dominating. I don't know if people saw his coverage on the cheetah. He was step for step with the fastest man in the NFL, like he was he was glued to this man in a critical situation. Jason Everett is that dude.
Yeah.
He is that dude.
He was dope with the Chargers. He was really good. Early. It was kind of surprised because draft status was not top corner in the draft by any measure whatsoever. So
just imagine, even with all these injuries, he still, look at where he still is. That is years later. Incredible. I mean, Jason Everett, hats off to you.
Well, okay, so one of the things that I talked about in the first hour was there are some players, and you and I talked about this, there are some players that are just injury prone. Yeah. And then there are players who get hurt maybe once in a while. Tom Brady blew out a knee, lost the season. Never happened again.
But it wasn't injury prone. Right.
Exactly. And then there are some players that just does not matter what they do. Tyrod Taylor is just going to keep getting hurt. I don't care.
He is. That's just his fate.
It is. I'm surprised that it was this quick. 2 games.
Yeah.
You know, I think we talked about it and went to like 4. We guessed 4 because I don't think he's ever started 4 in a row, except for that 1 year in Buffalo.
Right? Yeah. He was so excited too. He was like a kid who just rediscovered Christmas.
I mean, there's things that are guaranteed. So we're watching the Vikings play here on Sunday, and it gets to 3rd down in a critical situation, and I say he's throwing it to Adam Thielen. Like, there are some things that are guaranteed. Kirk Cousins going to Adam Thielen. Tyrod Taylor's getting hurt. Like, I ended up being, once I hit college, injury prone. I could not stop getting hurt. Dumb shit, like I strained my Achilles once and missed like 3 weeks. It's just like, how the fuck did that happen? Well, they made us carry cinder blocks and sprint 100-yard sprints carrying 2 cinder blocks. Do you know what happens when you're my height and you hold cinder blocks all the way down? They like drag the ground, dude.
I'm about to say, you look like a knuckle dragger.
Yeah, I was, so I ended up straining my goddamn Achilles trying to beat everybody in sprints holding 2 cinder blocks. Why? What do I get out of that? On the bench for 2 more weeks, and then you know how it is. You only got like 10 games, 12 games max in college, so you miss 2. They're like, oh, well, are you really available? Because these other guys have been playing, so.
Because then they're looking at the true frosh. Yeah.
And it's like you got to wait for somebody else to get hurt for you to get a shot now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that college run is so short, dude. It's such a short window of success.
That's why in high school, most coaches will tell you, you better enjoy the shit out of high school because this is probably as far as you're going to go. And for as long as you're going to do this.
Well,
so you better enjoy every single second.
I mean, I can attest to my own personal experience in college. It wasn't fun anymore. It's a job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to wake your ass up early, get some weights. And if you don't, if you are lazy, it's not even going to showcase itself on the field. You're going to end up getting yourself hurt.
Yeah.
Because those other cats who are thirsty trying to get to the league, they are going to destroy you. Like college is probably the most dangerous. I mean, outside of the league, because you have so many people who believe they should go to the next level.
And will do whatever it takes.
Anything it takes to get there. So you better be on it just for sheer survival.
Yeah, you've got people who are literally every single hit, they're trying to make it to the league on that hit.
Absolutely.
Just trying to take people's souls. So, it's crazy. So, Colts moving forward, Carson Wentz, 2 sprained ankles.
befitting for him. He's another one. And another one, I'm just going to be hurt my whole career.
Yeah, we'll never know what could have been with this one because when he's healthy, he's really, really good.
He is.
But
he is. But, yeah, exactly. But.
So, this is...
Same thing about O.J. Howard. We've been saying the same thing about Irv Smith, where we got to refer to their college highlights because what you got on pro tape, you got a little bit on pro tape that shows the potential, but that's it.
So, Kerry, I think with Carson Wentz, and I'll forever remember, that will be the play that is now burned in my head with Carson Wentz instead of that jumping into the corner with the Eagles that he did. I know you hated it. It was the Eagles, but when I saw that throw, I was just like, okay, he's different. Anyway, now my image of Carson Wentz will be him spinning backwards, spraining both ankles, and trying to throw it over his shoulder, no look to somebody, while Aaron Donald, of all people, is around your legs.
You try to protect yourself as best as possible.
So,
live for the next play, baby.
So this is what I think about Carson Wentz. I think that this is the curse of him growing up in North Dakota, playing 8-man football, and then playing at North Dakota. He's 6'6", with an NFL body, played at North Dakota against people my size, played at North Dakota, dude. He could do shit like that there. He got to the NFL and still thought he could always do what he always did. He never mentally was just like, no, this is different.
But see, no, it goes even deeper than that. Because not only did he play at North Dakota, he played at North Dakota State.
Yeah, State
University.
Yeah.
So, like, it gets even deeper than that. So, yeah, he was playing against the Munchkins. He was playing against the lunch crew that everybody laughed at.
Yeah. Yeah. People my size, except the funny thing is I probably had more people on my college team that made it to the NFL than North Dakota State did besides him.
Damn right. I know.
You know, so... yeah, the Colts moving forward, they're going to have Jacob Eason's going to be starting. Who knows how long? That's terrible. He gets in and throws a pick immediately to Jalen Ramsey. You know, Jalen Ramsey was just like, oh, I'm definitely picking this. I'm going to bait. He baited the shit out of him. It was,
of course. He said game over. As soon as Eason came in, he said game over.
Game over. I'm going to leave him 7 yards open. Watch this. He probably called it in the huddle too. He said, "No, I got this. Watch this."
Yeah.
Somebody probably made a bet. Yo, game check on this. Game check. That's a game check on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Colts are going to suck moving forward. They're 0-2 now. This was a Super Bowl contender on paper to start the season.
It was.
So we talked about this early on. You could be a good team and just get off to a rough start, and it can completely derail your season. And all of a sudden, you might end up fucking 6-11 this year. So the Bills get right game. Yeah, whatever. We expected this. 35-0. Tua got hurt. We saw that hit. Ugh.
Saw that coming also. So now it's Jacoby Briskets. You got to see. Briskets got to put some tape together. Brother, put some tape together and take that job.
I mean,
it's yours now.
It's his now, and the Dolphins literally scored no points, which is really hard to do in an NFL game.
It's okay. Just let him get a whole full week practice.
Well,
we'll see.
We love Jacoby. He's a very competent NFL quarterback. 49ers eke one out over the Eagles.
I called that one, though.
Of course you did, because you hate the Eagles, and the 49ers do have a better roster. I just thought... And
got a better roster.
They had a shot. The Eagles had a shot to win this game.
They did.
You know, so Jalen Hurts played pretty well. Quez Watkins was getting busy.
He's a one of the fastest cats in the league.
Yeah, he was getting busy.
That people outside of Philly don't know about. Unless you play fantasy.
So, I mean, the Niners are 2-0, but their offense outside of Deebo Samuel was really not doing that, which is amazing. You have George Kittle, who's not really like doing a whole lot, right?
Well, he's doing a lot of blocking duties to help up the run game. So he's sacrificing his touches for the run game. Respect that.
So how long until Jimmy G gets replaced? Because they're just like itching for it to happen.
Jimmy G has a longer leash, obviously, than Red Rocket in Chicago. And as long as Jimmy G keeps doing what he does, I think they'll just keep sprinkling in Trey Lance until They expect
until Jimmy G gets hurt.
They expect Jimmy G to get hurt, so it actually helps the Niners if they just don't pull Jimmy G. When people can look at his preseason and be like, well, Jimmy G had a great preseason. We don't know how great of a season he could have had, but you put this rookie in. So they're going to trot him out. And they're like, no. Jimmy G's going to get the majority of the snaps. We'll just pepper in Lance, knowing in the back of their mind, Jimmy G's going to get hurt. It's going to be Trey Lance's team in a minute. So
that's just one of those other players. He's getting hurt. It always happens.
So this is the 49ers, again, showing everyone how to do it. Smart. Because he's going to take – they know who their player is, and they know what he's going to do to himself.
Yeah, they are the Shanahan-John Lynch combination is a very good one.
Absolutely.
They are definitely going to win a Super Bowl in their run easily.
Yeah. They got it all together. They got the right minds running the show.
Raiders.
I actually picked them too.
So Big Ben has a pec injury, left pec not right.
He has pecs. That's breaking news.
He did. He slimmed down, man. He slimmed down.
He did. He went from tits to pecs. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I think he needed to be fat though.
Yeah, he did. He played better fat.
Yeah.
Just like Luther saying better fat. Nobody wants to hear skinny Luther sing.
Derek Carr.
The band draws for the babies.
Yeah, Derek Carr with another huge game.
Yes, he did. Derek Carr. I mean, listen. If y'all don't know about Derek Carr, y'all don't know about him this season.
Yeah, I've always liked Derek Carr. I always thought he was a really upper level NFL quarterback. He's not elite. If you want to say that there's only like 4, maybe 3 at this point in the NFL.
But what he showed us last year, especially, is that he converts third downs, which is major, especially as a NFL quarterback. And now this season, with him layering in, going deep, and the old Raiders philosophy of speed kills, we're going to go deep. That's why I picked up Henry Ruggs. And I believe we're going to be seeing this a lot more now, because Ruggs has to stay healthy. And they also have Zay Jones who can run. So, this is going to be something to keep your eyes on, because if you're telling me Derek Carr is going to be going downfield, he already has the underneath on lock with Waller. So now he's also going to be going downfield, and he has the arm strength to do it. Shit, at least on offense.
So
I believe in what the Raiders are doing.
Does this say more about the Raiders or more about the Steelers?
I think this actually says more about the Raiders because of Derek Carr's willingness to now really commit to going downfield. So I think it actually says more about him.
I know that we're hearing the same song about these Steelers, though. Inability to effectively run the fucking football in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know, but also...
Kid only had 10 carries.
Let's remember, guys, Pouncey's gone. Even though Villanueva is stinking it up for Baltimore, he was a big part of their offense. He's gone. Their former tight end, I forget his name right now, but he was also an excellent blocker. He's gone. He retired.
Heath Miller.
So, yeah, Heath Miller. Thank you. So, what did you expect, guys? You know what I mean? Like that's why James Conner was trying to bounce it outside all the time, because the middle was a fuck show.
Yeah, but it's not only their inability to run the ball, they just don't want to anymore. Najee Harris only had 10 carries. It's 10 touches.
And he was actually more effective in the pass game. Yeah, but that's the sign of the league. The only team who's committed to the run like that are the Titans, and we see that. And how did the Titans win? They stayed committed to what they do best.
Yeah, I know, but how do they always lose? If they get behind early, then it's over for them, because they're not built to come from behind, which is crazy with A.J. Brown. And we don't know what we're actually going to get from Julio this year. We haven't really seen which version of Julio is actually going to come out. So,
well, the one that we've been seeing most, the injured one.
Yeah.
The diminished one. I hope that doesn't become a nickname, the diminished one.
Probably should have kept Corey Davis.
Corey Davis.
Probably should have kept that guy.
Or at least Jonnu Smith, but don't lose both.
Yeah.
That was my problem with the Titans. If you lose Corey Davis, you got to keep Jonnu. or either or. You can't.
Yeah, I
lose
forgot
both
about
of
it. I
those.
mean, he's even a Patriot now, and I forgot that because he's a Patriot now. I forgot he was a Titan. So
Right.
that is a
Because
huge.
first Korean
That's
is-
two huge losses. That's two. That's too big.
That's huge.
Especially now, it's going to allow you to load up in the box even more.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have somebody prove they can beat you. Can a diminished Julio beat anybody one-on-one right now? Is can Fursker fill in the void left? No. That's a number 2 tight end.
Furster's been getting pissed these first 2 weeks.
So we already talked about the Panthers and Saints. 3 coaches. We don't know what the Saints are yet. You can't judge them on that game. That's not fair. That's like when the Denver had to play with the wide receiver quarterback.
Which he was really an assurance adjuster at that point.
Yeah.
It was an insult to even call him a wide receiver.
Kind of the same scenario. So the Broncos start out 2-0, but they also played the worst team in football. So it's the Jags. The Jags look terrible.
Yeah, they're hard.
Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Ballgame looking good, though.
Yeah, he is. 72 clubs doing his thing. Hold on a second.
Cortland Sutton getting busy with 9 catches for 159. I know Drew Lock's got to be pissed off that Teddy Bridgewater's getting busy. So how mad is Drew Lock right now?
It's hard to tell with his college frat boy douchebag face. I mean,
is Drew Lock the new Jay Cutler?
the thing with Jay Cutler though is that he actually threw touchdown. Like he actually had Monday Night Football success.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Well, when you got an arm that big, you will be successful sometimes. Even Jeff George had touchdown passes.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, just because you have a huge, you're right with Jeff George. But at least those guys threw a ton of picks, but people kept believing in them.
Well, with Jay Cutler, Brandon Marshall.
Believes.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall was fucking all pro with Jay Cutler at quarterback.
But nobody believes in Drew Lock right now.
No, not at all.
So that's the problem.
Vikings and Cardinals, incredible football game. Captain Kirk.
Oh my God! And I called Cardinals, and it was the Vikings doing what they do, losing it as they do. Their kicking situation was much like the much like the Titans kicking situation last year. Horrific, and it is clearly not improved. Listen, I know a lot of people diss kickers. They don't think they're real football players. But I tell you what, you know the difference between not having a kicker and having a kicker. Ask the Patriots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So having a kicker matters. So guys, just because a guy's been in the league for a long time, everybody ages out. So there's plenty of young kickers. Give these guys a test and see what they could do. You may find what's his name? What's his face from Baltimore?
Justin Tuck.
Justin Tuck, who as soon as Tuck got on there, forget it. He was crushing it. And then you don't when you have a great kicker, you re-sign that motherfucker no matter. You'll franchise them.
So I think above all other positions in the NFL, kicker is the most pressure performance position.
Absolutely.
It's
100 get on the field.
It's 100% mental.
You get on the field, you are absolutely expected to perform. You can't fail. You know what I mean?
You're not allowed. You'll get fired if you fail. And when those lights get on and the crowd's out there, it's a little bit different than practice.
You can be on a team where a quarterback throws 30 interceptions, but if you miss 2-3 field goals in a game, your ass is gonna have a pink slip.
Yep. Especially if you missed one the week before, it's over for you. It's nope, get them out of here. They'll bring in 5 kickers while you're there to audition.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Cardinals though, they're pretty fucking exciting.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray's ridiculous. I'm wondering if one of those times when he's like spinning in the pocket and whatnot, if one of those DN's going to catch him. What might happen to him because he's very small.
He would have to absolutely just not be paying attention.
Yeah, because one of the plays that I had liked from him the most in that game is when he did get sacked. It was a blindside coming. He felt it and just fell. And that the guy tried to hit him and actually went over him and only touched him with his arm. And I was just like, well, see, that guy is never going to get hit.
Yeah.
He just knows.
Yeah.
He's like Flutie. He just knows how to not get hit even when you're that small.
Russell, yeah, like these guys, they have that in it because they all been playing at that size. Tua
doesn't understand.
He's trying to play taller than bigger than he is, and when you do that, you end up like Pat White.
That's what Tua reminds me of, body-wise. He's so small.
Yeah.
So the Vikings start out 0-2, which is to be expected. Captain Kirk is a quarterback. They're probably going to start out like 1-4 or something, and they go on a midseason run and end up one game under 500 and not make the playoffs. So fuck them. The Bucs blow out the Falcons. We don't even need to talk about that shit. Matt Ryan sucks, and the Bucs are the Bucs.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Cowboys, good game against the Chargers. Thought the Chargers were going to be able to pull this one out.
See, called it. Even though the Chargers should have won, I just had a feeling that Dallas squad was going to win. Y'all even almost halfway convinced me to switch it to the Chargers. Last second, I said no. I'm gonna stick with what I said. I said Cowboy, and I know. And Dak did Dak things, and the Ewok showed up.
Well, also, what I think is more critical to the success for Dallas is they actually leaned on
backup running back
Tony Pollard a lot. He had 109 yards.
Yeah, Tony Pollard. That's going to be their modicum of success. Tony Pollard becomes the first and second down back. Ewok becomes the third down back. Now we got something. Vegan Ewok.
Yeah.
Vegan Ewok needs to be third down.
V-Walk.
Yeah.
He's a V-Walk.
Yeah, the V-Walk.
So, I mean, both these teams are pretty solid roster-wise. It was a pretty good game, especially football-wise, because defense and offense both showed up. It wasn't a typical modern-day NFL game of 38-36. 2017, pretty solid. Micah Parsons starting to figure out the NFL.
Monster, clearly showcasing it. I hated it when they got him. I wanted the G's to get him, but yeah, this guy's going to be...
Well, it was funny. You know, he got labeled after game one as, like, lost because Tom Brady was just had him spinning in circles.
That's silly to do that. Because, come on now. That's silly.
That's
Tom Brady.
Yeah, come on. You knew. He's like, oh, rookie. Watch this. Looked really good in week 2. He was all over the place.
He was all over the damn place. Yeah.
Well, that's huge. That's such a huge upgrade to have that kind of guy. You've got that guy now. It's like Luke Kuechly almost, like that guy. He's going to make like 30 plays in a game, 15 of them solo. You know, so that's good for them. I hate it because I hate the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, also, yeah. I mean, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
We already know what happened to the G's. Penalties and stupidities.
That was the first thing we talked about, was that how, as a D line, a D tackle, how do you jump?
Just stupidity. So, yeah, fuck them.
Unless it's a 60-yard field goal, you're not blocking it as a D tackle because it's going right over you. Like,
what are you doing? Just stand straight up.
Yeah.
You're not going to make the play. Shut up. So, yeah, that's dumb. Next, what do we have? Oh, Cincinnati.
Well, no, I already we did that. So I did that with Titans and Seahawks. Tennessee found a way to go back and win. Derrick Henry went off.
And then also my man had 20 tackles. So we talk about someone figuring it out. For Seattle, what's his name?
Wagner, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner had 20 tackles.
Well,
oh shit! Hey, I gotta get this, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll wrap it up solo. I got this. All right, so solo venture from here on out. We only have 2 more games to talk about, and we already talked about the Chiefs and Ravens. Tyler Lockett, 8 catches for 178 again. Him and Russell Wilson have a synergy that is like Tom Brady and Gronk. It's retarded. Derrick Henry, 35 carries. He's going to break runs if you keep giving him the ball. He's too fucking fast and big. They did find a way to come back and win it, though. We watched that game, and they were getting blown out. But, you know, that's the NFL for you. It's also Seattle's fault for not being able to score past the second quarter, essentially. So it's on them as much as it is on the Titans being able to come back and win that game. Ravens and Chiefs, we talked about that already. It's the first game we talked about. And the Packers, they get the Lions. What did you fucking expect? I didn't even watch this game, to be perfectly honest with you. We did Mob Deep Monday. I didn't watch this shit. So, what do we got coming up next week? Let's make some prognostications real quick. So, Carolina at Houston, Panthers. Red Wolves at Buffalo. Oh, I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think they already got the things going correctly. Chicago with Justin Fields as the starter at Cleveland. This is a tricky game. This is a trap game for Cleveland. Because Chicago might come in because Justin Fields is a starter and just go all out for the first time. Like, the team might be on another level of team. Still going to go with Cleveland. Baltimore at Detroit. Do we even have to ask? Indianapolis at Tennessee with Jacob Eason as the starter. Or why did I even ask? The Chargers at Kansas City. It's going to be a really good game. Cannot wait to watch this. I watched Justin Herbert play every single snap. That guy's fucking awesome to watch. That is the prototypical quarterback in my view. Man, I want to pick the Chargers, but I'm not going to. Chiefs. New Orleans at New England. Do the Saints come back with their full coaching staff and right the ship? It's in New England, which is not easy to play in, and I'm a Pats fan, so what are we talking about? Atlanta at New York. Oh, the Giants might get a win. I'm going to give the Giants a win because I think Atlanta's the second worst team in football. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Oh. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Arizona at Jacksonville. Stupid. The Jets at Denver. Mile high. Come on. Zach Wilson is actually used to playing in that environment because he went to BYU, so it's not going to affect him as much, but it will affect the rest of the team. Playing in Denver is hard. The elevation change is brutal. So brutal that Ryan Clark, who has sickle cell, would not even travel to games in Denver, let alone play in them. So Teddy Ballgame's playing well too, so Denver. Miami at Las Vegas. Vegas all day, especially in Vegas. It's going to be impossible to win there. All the away players are going to go to the casinos and shit, like the unfocused ones. And I have the best home field advantage in football. Tampa Bay at Los Angeles. Let's go. Game of the week. So, you asked if the Bucs play the Rams. Well, yeah, they do this week. Bucs at Rams at 4:25. That game is going to be retarded. Look what the NFL did for us. So the other games at 4 o'clock are the Jets at Denver. No one cares. Miami at Vegas. No one cares. And then Seattle at Minnesota. No one cares. The whole world's going to be watching Tampa Bay at Los Angeles in their shiny new stadium. Wow. I'm still going to have to go with the Bucs. It's Tom Brady. The only issue is they better sign Richard Sherman like today, tomorrow morning or something, and get him in this game because they're going to need him. Cooper Kupp is going to They have a really good season. Seattle at Minnesota. Captain Kirk is not winning. I don't care. Green Bay at San Francisco. Sunday night game. That's a really good fucking football game. Has Green Bay righted the ship, or did they just play a terrible football team? Well, I think they just played a terrible football team. San Francisco is anything but a terrible football team. I'm going to go with Green Bay, and then you're going to start to hear the Trey Lance chatter get a little bit louder. Kerry will love this one. Philadelphia at Dallas, the two teams he hates the most from Monday Night Football. Dallas. Until Philadelphia proves me otherwise, I'm definitely going with Dallas. Is there anything else for me to talk about right now? We already talked about the standings. It's so early, it doesn't matter. Derek Carr is fucking balling. Yeah, Derrick Henry, of course. Deebo Samuels, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, all having retarded years statistically so far. It's so early on the season, it doesn't really matter. We will not know who each team fully is until about week 6. And then you'll have a real idea of like what they truly are. Because even in losses, you will show glimpses. The Patriots were always notorious for losing a game, but like having a really good second half and then running off of that. So last year, the Bucs did this when they lost to the Chiefs. They were down big, and they actually dominated the Chiefs in the second half. And they all said at postgame they just kind of ran out of time. So even in a loss, they still came away with a sense that they knew they could win that game. So going into the Super Bowl, they just were fully confident, like, oh no, we already knew what to do. We got off to a bad start. So yeah, Rondell Moore looks incredible. Roger Harper was telling me that he was absolutely dominating Ohio State at Purdue last year, so I had no idea who he was. I had to ask. So the Cardinals are loaded on offense right now. Like, they're so stacked. DeAndre Hopkins might be the best wide receiver in football. Kyler loves Christian Kirk. This guy's already got 3 touchdowns, I think. AJ Green is still relevant and producing. That's incredible. He looked like he could still move, which he didn't look good over the last couple years in Cincy, physically. And now you add this kid in, Rondell Moore, so that's 4 deep with talent. And then, don't they have, what's that white wide receiver's name? Fuck. Not Danny Amendola. It's another dude. The Patriots wanted to get this guy, and they ended up not getting him. So they actually go 5 deep as far as wide receivers go, since Rondell Moore is looking so good. So now you kind of understand why they just throw the ball every play. They do have John Connor at running back, but was his last year in Pittsburgh or last 2 years the fault of them not being able to run the football, or was he not any good? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So, yeah, man. All right. That's it. This is a lot of me talking. I'm done doing this. I need to go get some food. So, I will see you guys Thursday for Beat Boutique. Is it the last Thursday of the month already? Let me check. It might actually be. No, it is not. So, it's not time for the Beat Battle. That's fine. All right. So, I will see you guys Thursday for Beat Boutique. Until then, keep fighting the good fight. RIPP 333, the merch line. Pay attention to 333 merchandise. I am almost done. I'm almost ready to let you guys see what I've been working on. So I'll see you Thursday night.